Like people would be discussing, okay, I got this offer, I got this interview, everything he was been there, done that. So even when he mentioned 7 failed startups, he told us in the SOP how he learned something from each and every one of them, and that is what has shaped him and his approach to problem solving and everything today. So again, that's what.
So generally here the culture is that we shy to share the failures. That is the culture that we are in. Generally that would be the case. But there they look at failures in a different way. So you need to understand how the universities look at your application process also.
I've also realized people over there have appreciated a lot of charitable work. So if you have, like I know a lot of people who've worked for like a Lions Club or something, any organization or any charitable thing that you're a part of, also mention in your SOPs. They really appreciate that. In general, from whatever we've heard, I think being authentic is what they're looking for. So as authentic you can be to yourself is going to be helpful.
So we've had one K.V.O.S. student who was with us as a volunteer for every event, and whether it was the computer mela or the digital fair or anything that we had. And somewhere we asked him, because there were a lot of students who would flood in his counter, wherever he would be there, a lot of small children would come around and, just be around him. So we asked him, can you conduct some workshops on robotics? He was an engineering student from DJ Sangvi, something biomedical. So we asked him if you can conduct. He was very interested in robotics. That was his personal passion. And he agreed. And we got some kits, 500 worth per kit. We got many kits from Lamington Road. He conducted those workshops in K.V.O.S.S Samaj office. We gave him a room space, and whenever there was a holiday, he would call for that workshop. It was a weekend or a public holiday or whatever. He conducted several workshops over the 2-3 years. And during that period, he also thought of a startup because it was doing very well. So with all our guidance, he had set up that startup also. He planned to go abroad, USA, and he had to stop it then, of course. But he wrote all that in his story. He wrote everything in his story. He landed in Cornell University. From biomedical he went to computers. And from there he is now in Apple. So he landed in different places. But he had the passion to work for the society. As she said, be true. Don't do it because you can add it in your CV. Do it because you want to do it. And if you've done it, you add it. It's the right way. Yeah, you all can continue. We'll just acknowledge Hemal Bhai from, please, Hemal Bhai from Seva Samaj, Secretary, and Sanjay Bhai from Matushri Mani Bhai, Donor Trustee. So we acknowledge your presence also, although the community, the children need to know who you are. And they need to know what the different organizations are. Yeah, please continue.
Okay, so university selection. Now that we have discussed about writing your story, that is what we wanted to be the first part of the journey. But how do you select your university? So there are a bunch of websites, again, like, you know of certain famous universities your seniors have gone to, sure, those exist. But there are way more number of universities that could be worth your while. So usnews.com, I would say, is a great repositories of US universities, ranked based on discipline. So you can see here it has computer science, and usme bhi like what are the disciplines, and this site will tell you what is the ranking of the university in each sub-discipline as well. So you may not have heard of the university, or someone you know may not have gone there, but it could be a great one for you. So don't just apply to the ones you've heard of, but like look up what universities are out there. What can I get from them? How can it help me? And actually then go from there. Like the way I said about SOP, write like two pages, 5 pages, whatever you want, but then shortlist from there. So similarly have 15 to 20 universities and then shortlist from there. So that is one
I'd
great
just
place.
like to add on the universities. વાણિયા આવ્યું અને પૈસે જે કરકસર વણી કે જ ખબર હે. So try to locate state public universities. You will be able to save your funds somewhere or the other. And of course, yeah, you can carry on. I'll answer.
Yeah. So again, I said US news, like that is the first. You get 20 universities and then you'll go about how to shortlist them. Secondly, there is also Yockit.com. I'm sure a lot of you guys might have heard this. But the thing is about Yockit, it kind of tends to limit you sometimes on GPA, SAT or GRE scores. The way it has something called a university finder. So you put in your scores, your numbers, so and so. And then it will recommend you, acha, for computer science, these are the 10 universities or 15 you can apply to. But how that works is it will look at the past years. पिछला वर्ष में हटला लोको हन यूनिवर्सिटी में व्या अने हनी जो स्कोर हटलो वो. But I don't think पाके हॉडी ते विचारनो खपे का okay, if someone with a low GPA never went here, I should not apply. ही मूं साथे पर्सनली थियो आहे because जर मुझे बैच जा एडमिट्स આવ્યા, people were shocked to know that I got an admit from Virginia Tech. My GRE score was good, but my GPA was not like in the 9 or 8s. My GPA was 7 point something. And people were like, Virginia Tech, so 7 walo ko nahi lega, stuff like that. But I did apply. I had written an organic story, what I've been doing, and turns out I was selected. So don't look at, acha, past year mein hi thyo, past year mein hi cut off ho. This is not India, this is not how it works. Just again, look at what's out there and how you can get it. Secondly,
Just wanted to add here the GPA scores that he spoke about, the CGPA or the GPA scores. Admission here is all based on cutoff in India. There it is not based only on cutoff. It's one of the very small factor. There are many other aspects that are looked into during admission. And it is your overall personality which is really important to them. The startups that you may have had, some experience of startup, the social work that you may have done, some community work that you may have done, or anything that is off the beat, which would add to your personality, some sports activities, national level, state level, all that would add to your admission. So don't go by cutoff and don't go behind your own CGPA score also.
next slide. So once we have कि चलो भाई 25-50 whatever universities हाणे मुके consider करनी हुई, how do we go about shortlisting? कहाणे हटली list में थी मुके हन पंज में कड़ाव में apply करना है. So not just locations or brand names. I mean we've stressed that enough. But हुन पोटिया हाणे suppose you have these universities, I would say study the curriculums. ठीक है, not just masters in computer science or whatever program you are applying to. Look at कि अच्छा 4 sems है कि 4 साल है, whatever it is, how are they distributed, what are the courses they are covering, what breadths and depths are they going into. If it has an ML course, तो ML में कितना depth में जा रहे हैं, supervised, unsupervised, whatever it is. Look at every curriculum and then decide कि okay, this makes more sense, and you can then have a ranking कि भाई अच्छा this looks like an interesting program, मुके हाथे बनना है, this is fine, you can drop this. So I would say look at curriculums, also class websites and faculty websites. This was something new to me as well. In any university, हन सेम में जो को भी class कोई professor hold कहीं था. So say Professor ABC is holding a class on machine learning. That professor will have their personal website. उस personal website पे लिखा होगा कि in fall 2024 I will be teaching the following class. In the class will have its own website ki if you want to look at say ML 2024 by Professor ABC, it will have written ki this is how the credits are broken down. It will have mentioned this is the weightage for assignments, this is the weightage for research projects, this is the weightage for research readings. So when I say look at curriculums, it's not ki acha hakado PDF neri gado ane kam thai vyo. You need to go into the depth and granularity that I'm talking about here. त्यार आके खबर पौंदी का स्टैनफोर्ड अने हार्वर्ड जे ML प्रोग्राम्स में फ़र्क करो आए. तो it's not just the topics but professors आन के कड़ी रीते approach कहीं था. Again when I mentioned individual subjects जो पण website हुंदो ML 2024 by Professor ABC, when you look at the professor का website, it will obviously say कि मैं ये class इस sem में पढ़ा रहा हूँ, but they will also have something about research there. कि I run a research lab so and so with a focus on machine learning, but I am looking for more interdisciplinary students. So the professor का website पे also you will be able to find he is looking to find students who are interested in something like this. So you can reach out to that professor कि okay, hey, I saw that you are teaching this class. I find your research interests exciting and you know, can we get on a call to discuss something? आऊँ ही कम क्यों आए? आऊँ ही projects क्या आई? अंजा ही projects बहुत interesting लगा. I have a question about something. How did you achieve 98% success in your model? Whatever. You know, this is where I was talking about the research and the homework you put in. એડી રીતે જ અહીં લોકો આંજી યુનિવર્સિટી બેટર સિલેક્ટ કરી શકતા કે ઓકે these professors are also more responsive. These professors are kind of teaching things in newer methods and newer technologies. Yeah, so I think these should be points that you focus on. The real curriculum. અહીં ભણેલા નહોતા તો ભણી જો તો નહીં રહ્યો સૌથી પહેલાં. Then sure, you know, like filter by GRE SAT acceptance scores, and when I say filter by these scores, हटला भी कट ऑफ न रह जा कि भाई अच्छा if it's like in the ballpark of a few numbers, ठीक है आज સુધી accept ना के maybe they will accept me, maybe I'll be the first person to go with a low GPA. So yes, look at things, make sure you are in a reasonable margin of error, but I would say look at these thresholds as well, also your financial requirements, whether it's a public or a private institution. Dhwani will talk about them in detail going forward, but again, these are factors to be considered: what the curriculum is, what scores are, what financial requirements are, what state the university is in. Apart from that, I would say now that you guys have, so again, we started with US news with say 25-30 universities, then based on the points I just mentioned, I ana shortlist kya kaane 50-25 जी हाणे 15 थे हाणे हुन 15 में भी let's see how do we shortlist them. Say you have these institutions you want to go, let's do one thing, talk to Ila ma'am. She has a, you know, like she has everyone's number here. So if you are interested in say Virginia Tech, she can reach out to me saying there's a candidate who is looking to apply to or go to Virginia Tech, can you just guide them? So I would say reach out to people who have already, who are alumni or who are currently studying in that university. કારણ કે હેવર હોતે કોર થઈ રહ્યો છે.
Just like to add here, સેવા સમાજ જી પગદંડી which comes in every month. દર વર્ષે there are about 2 months between October to December જે period jo, where you'll find a list of all the students who have gone international for education. And all these Pagdandi magazines, they are all available on the website of all the past years. So if you want to find out the earlier batches, even Sonal would be in one of them, Devesh would be in one of them, everyone, all of them would be there in some or the other magazine. So, and the name of the university that they've gone, that's also there. So it's very simple to connect now. Yeah.
So yeah.
In any case, we also help you in connecting. You can always contact us. That's not the case at all.
Right. So I would say, like, you know, once you have these 15 universities, try reaching out to people who are actively there or who have been there. कि आंजे कॉलेज जा सीनियर्स हो ही सकें. There is, you know, like LinkedIn पे you can find anyone. So try cold calling. Again, I'll get to something in a moment, how these things will help you even going further, not just to reach your university, but this is how you kind of build a muscle for networking. How to reach out to so many people, how to do cold calling, how to do cold emailing. You reach out to so many people, this is what your homework is about. So हकड़ी वारे होनी लोगों पे की गाल कही गना जे अंजे यूनिवर्सिटीज जन में आके इंटरेस्ट आए उनमें बढ़े ताका बढ़े आई. This puts you in a better position to further shortlist them. And after that I would say is, now once you have say 10, 7, whatever is the number of universities you want to apply to, categorize them into ambitious, moderate or safe. That's just a general practice. We want to be, you know, like ambitious, like if I get in, I get in. But you also want to make sure I apply to enough moderate or safe ones. कि chalo, if not this, there is another one I will still get an admission from. So that is the general process of how to go about it. Just one point,
Yeah,
sorry, ma'am.
just to add, the total number of universities, you can talk about that.
Okay, yeah. So again, that's kind of also personal choice because you have to pay the application fee for every, you have to pay the GRE sending, TOEFL sending fees for everything. So that is a personal choice, but generally is what I'm saying. You can look at something between 10, around 10 plus or minus number of universities. You can do 3, 4, 3, 3 ambitious, 4 moderate, 3 safe, or whatever, like, depending on your profile, whatever makes sense to you can be the average number of universities you apply to. I think this is US centric if this
So,
differs.
generally, you can have anything even like 7 to 8. You need not reach up to 10. You can just have anything between 6 to 8. This can also be a question at the visa counter. Why have you applied to so many? So, just be careful about all this. Applying to too many, they have the records. They'll get everything. It's there in the software. So you can't hide that you applied to so many.
So yeah, no, that's a very valid point. They have your details. So the moment you enter the United States, you will be asked ki, and it will look suspicious कि अच्छा इतनी सारी universities में क्यों apply किया? Are you really coming to study in this institution कि you just want to come here? So fair enough. And I've just mentioned there that a PhD candidate had to redo 3 semesters. The reason I have emphasized about in the previous slide and here कि do your research, do your homework, is that there was a student who joined with me. He was there for his PhD. He did 3 sems with this particular professor. And then that professor got an offer from a better university. So she took 2 of her PhD students with her, and one was just left in my university without an advisor after 3 semesters. So this is again a reason to kind of reach out to people who are working and just ask them what is it looking like. Yeah. So next one, I would say research and scholarships. Again, it goes without saying AIML is on the rise, but on the AIML front as well, interdisciplinary research is on the rise. People sometimes may think ki, oh, I'm not from a computer science or an IT background, AIML might not be for me. But more and more these days, you see that people who are from different disciplines are actually favored, because you say someone comes from a chemical engineering background or a textile background and so on and so forth, and they bring the best of both worlds, that you also have certain domain knowledge about your own industry, but at the same time you can use technology, AI models to kind of get the desired output. So interdisciplinary research is on the rise. It's not just one field, the way you can mix things. Another thing I have also mentioned in in university selection, but this also plays a role into your homework, that you should look at whatever university you are going to, if it's a professional university or a research based university. Professional universities tend to have shorter programs. Instead of a 2 years master's degree, it will have a 1.5 year course. That is for a different purpose. If you are research inclined, then you may want to go for a different university. So again, looking at the curriculums is what is key here. Secondly, when I mentioned go deeper into the class websites, you will realize ki, okay, some class, 2 universities, both may they are teaching us the same subject, but one has a focus on assignments. It will give you practical learning, which you will then use. The other will make you read more research papers. It will tell you what the industry is about, but you will have to go and do the practical work yourself. So look at the curriculums and how everything differs. Another thing, and again, this is where your university and professor research comes in handy, is GRAs and GTAs. I cannot stress this point enough. GRA is a graduate research assistantship. GTA is a graduate teaching assistantship. Once you get selected for these, for a particular semester, you will get a stipend. Aake hakdo pachu nakdo pagar maldo, and on top of that, you will get a tuition waiver. Tanji sem ji joko bhi fee undi, that will be off, completely off. So अगर अंजे मास्टर्स में 2 वर्ष में आके चारों सेम में ही GRA मल्यो, you will be doing your masters for free, literally free, and you will be getting paid to do it because there is a stipend as well. અને હોન stipend में थी અહીં લોકો આંજો રેજો ખર્ચો યોર લિવિંગ એક્સપેન્સીસ યોર રેન્ટ યોર ઇલેક્ટ્રિસિટી વાઈફાઈ વોટર બિલ્સ કઢી ગંતા સો પ્રેક્ટિકલી આંજો માસ્ટર્સ ફ્રી થઈ ગયો એન્ડ ધીસ ઇઝ વાય આઈ એમ સેઇંગ GRA GT આંકે કી મળે સો પ્રોફેસર્સ આઉં પ્રોફેસર્સ जी વેબસાઇટ તે લખેલો હूंदो કે आई एम लुकिंग फॉर स्टूडेंट्स who are into this research topic or that research topic. અહીં જેટલી રિસર્ચ કરીને આગે ખબર પડી પ્રોફેસર્સ આર or the world is doing research in this area. At the moment you decide that he मुझी final university आए, this is the choice I am making, you can start reaching out to them. I have decided to accept the offer for this university, and start reaching out to the professors. You know, I see you are doing research here, you are doing research there. You know, will there be a possibility of me working with you, working under you on certain project? It is not likely कि अंजे first attempt में someone will give you the GRA. They will mostly make you work with them for 6 months. It's basically trial and error. पहले इस्तेमाल करें फिर विश्वास करें. So everyone will do that. कि पल्लो सेम અહીં એકડો કામ કયો, do work with me. मुके अंजो कम नेरनु है. But the moment you work with them, you impress them with your work. उन पोठिया उन्हीं के अगर लगो अंजो actual में कम सारो है, your second sem onwards, they will recommend you for a GRA or a GTA. અને હોન પોઠિયા again, as I mentioned, અંજો tuition fee waive થઈ વંદી, આંકે નહીં ભરની ખપે.
I'd just like to add 2 points here. One is, this is one of the additional reason why we say do your own research for your own university selection. If somebody else is doing the selection, you won't reach this research at all. That is one. And the second thing is that even for this, references help you. So being in touch with your senior alumni or senior students there, समझो इन 25 में बनने वाला है अथवा इन 24 में बनने वाला है, be in touch with the seniors over there from now. And those who have been going through this research assistantship, you can definitely ask them to give you the reference, and that helps. Yes?
Yeah, so here I'm a live example of that. I had first gone to the US on a F2 visa. Because my husband F1 वो तो मुझे टाइम जो कोरो करे जो मुझे खबर नहीं तो इंटरनेशनल स्टूडेंट्स में होड़ा कोई जनी मुझे फ्रेंड थे भाई, राइट. सो आई यूज्ड टू स्पेंड टाइम उनके फ्री में ही, लाइक एवरी मॉर्निंग आई यूज्ड टू गो फॉर बर्थडे कलाक अने उनके हंजे ऑफिस जो वर्क में हेड़ी ते हेल्प कईंदी मिया अने पोइ जरा हूँ मास्टर्स लाइ अप्लाई कयो तो मुझे हुन ऑफिस में दिस इज़ नॉट रिलेटेड, इट इज़ नॉट रिलेटेड टू कंप्यूटर साइंस एट ऑल, राइट. ऐं मास्टर्स कयो ते होड़ा तो आई गॉट GA, like a graduate assistantship, where my master's was completely free and I also got a stipend on top of it. My work was so appreciated that even they sponsored a H1B for that. So I got an H1B from Binghamton University. They generally don't do that. Atle basically the point is stay connected. There initially I count na kyunki I'm free mein koro kahin aati, right. I was just making good use of my time, right. And that connect, right. In person way, like email through way, right. I'm a live example of that. So that really helped us.
Yeah,
actually.
I just want to give some more examples on that. जो students हते generally पंजी रीते admission process न कहीं दावे, they don't know what has gone into the whole thing. They are busy shopping over here. ओला गोते वने ने मरे चीजों खपती अंजू. They are more enjoying their parties over here because पोई तवरे केनी मलदा मरे friends. Kenny Maldi family. They are enjoying here. When they go there, they don't know anybody. So they are lost there. And there are students who are working over here, they are taking their work experience or they are studying here. Simultaneously, they are in touch with their professors, with the alumni, with the current students, and they are creating their base over there. Those are the students who get those good. See, because he made a shortage way, and job ji. It is not ample. पो उन्हीं के कते मले जो को बेस जे जो नाए कते कैंटीन में मल दो के somewhere you will get such kind of jobs. But those who have created their base with their professors, with their the present students and with the alumni, they are the ones who will get these, you know, what Viral has been talking about and what Sonal has been talking about. You will get something more academic, something more intellectual, and something which is more learner based. So you decide. How do you want to go prepared?
And again, to add more to that, so the fact that she mentioned, का हंजो H1B पण स्पॉन्सर क्या नाउ दैट H1B वुड बी वेरी डिफरेंट बिकॉज आई कोई इंडस्ट्री में वो ना H1B देन इट्स अ लॉटरी बेस्ड सिस्टम का द कंपनी फाइल्स फॉर योर H1B अने आंजी लॉटरी लगे का न लगे इफ यू गेट पिक्ड अप योर H1 no हाँ so I'm saying आंजी लॉटरी right in that also you have 3 chances but my point is ka it's a lottery based system chances are ki your H1B is not picked but the H1B that they filed for her since it was an educational institute that is filing the H1B it is not ki pick up thindo ka na it's a guaranteed pickup so she got an H1B right.
Yeah, so beyond H1B, this my boss also sponsored my green card. Yeah, just it because so you all know C.V.O.S.S, right?
Which you did finally take it.
Which I didn't take. I know. I actually switched after I got my AD. I still feel bad for it that I do that, but she's amazing, amazing mentor and everybody. That anyways, that's besides the point. The point is that who joko initial and connect banaya, right? अने पाण मडे कच्ची आयु पाण एकदम सरसच काम करे वारे उन जो कीच डाउट ना એટલે પણ હટાવટ થાયું, right? The who is so valuable, right? Beyond that soft skill is so valuable. So even the green card was sponsored and she hired the best law firms. Murthy and Murthy are the best law firms in the US for immigration laws, right? And so she went through the whole process. She had to do so many things like jumps. So she's Jewish, okay? And hani chokro statement hai, no is the start of a conversation. What that means is ke agar koi unke nacha nahi nato thiya to aun figure out kainda kya ki kaindi aau. So no is just the start of a conversation, right? So these are just when I look back now, I'm like, oh my God, karo thevyo karne. But it is basically all that hard work that everybody is talking about, you know, putting your own in it, right? That is just the most important thing.
लिपाया वडील चवंदा ना ओळखाण खाण आहे. There is some saying. So this is the खाण that we are all talking about.
So અને હજી એકડી વસ્તુ the way she said it's not just related कि computer science जी वस्तु ना है અહીં જન પણ મેજર में જન પણ પ્રોગ્રામ ला વંદાવો MS में અહીં હોન ફિલ્ડ में GA ग्रेजुएट रिसर्च और टीचिंग असिस्टेंटशिप कही सको नाउ when I say અહીં હોન ફિલ્ડ में कही सको the chances are હોન ફિલ્ડ जे बार भी कही सको if sometimes it happens कि जन फील्ड में आके इंटरेस्ट आए होन जा पोजिशंस GRA GTA ऑलरेडी फुल थी विया then you can still apply to be the GTA of some other program which is closely like mathematics. Like if you're going for computer science or finance, math is something that is related to everyone. तई होन डिपार्टमेंट भी अप्लाई कई सकता. But the thing is हु थोड़ोक अलग थई वंदो अंजे डिसिप्लिन थी. अगेन आके अंजो ट्यूशन फ्री थई वंदी. अंजो मास्टर्स फ्री में थई सके तो. But why not get it in your own discipline? And that's what I've mentioned. You can gain experience while being a student. आई स्टूडेंट आयो but साथे साथे कम भी कयो था. So that's like another bonus point you can get. Another thing, yes, network and make contacts. I would say, GRAs will give you a taste of what your PhD looks like if you are in MS. On the other hand, ahin agar haji akro route hai. There is something called as a J1 visa. This is not what many people are aware of. People know F1 and H1B only. But J1 visa is that for a visiting scholar. Many undergrads use it. Agar haji anje bachelor's je program mein wo you can apply for something called as a J1 visa and then I 6 મહિને લા કઈને US વંદા to do particularly a GRA or a GTA. Again he made free thing but it will give you a taste of what my masters will look like. તો અહીં માસ્ટર્સ કહેલા વનો હોનથી પહેલાં 6 મહિના US में માચું નકડી internship જેડો થઈ ગયો. So that's another thing that not a lot of
many students go for summer school and all. This is also one route, the J1.
And I've just lastly mentioned making you consider PhD for just a sec because मुझे पंजे भी मन में ही वो करना PhD तो नाई कहूँ 5 वर्ष लगता पण हकड़ी वारा होते व्यो अने नेरियो what research is like, what research funding is like and मुझो honestly I was like I want to do a PhD. The reason I did not do a PhD immediately after my masters were different reasons. I was like मुके थोड़ो professional experience भी खपे तो I wish आऊँ experience घनी ने मुझो masters कहलावे हो. That is something I did not do and hence I jumped into the job market. If I had done this differently आऊँ मुझे masters पोटिया immediately PhD कहीं करो हो. So that's just something for you guys to consider. Experience घनी ने वनो masters क्या हो.
And like when you do a master's, like many of my friends, master's સાથે PhD કર્યા હતા અને ઘચ ક્રેડિટ્સ રોલ ઓવર થઈ ગયા. So if you separately do a PhD, it's a 5-year, let's say 4-5 year affair. પણ અગર એ માસ્ટર્સ સાથે ગયા હતા તો ઓલમોસ્ટ 20-24 ક્રેડિટ્સ આજે માસ્ટર્સ યુટિલાઇઝ થઈ મને થીસિસ વાળા. So automatically a PhD which could be a 4-5 year thing becomes a 2 year thing. So one of my batchmates जो मुझे विजय में भी who masters के आउ masters थी नौकरियों and I think that वेरे में वो PhD थे हुई. So by the time I job में वो before I could even settle in my job she was done. She is a doctor as because she's a PhD. So actually you can leverage that because she already had the clarity. She got a good thesis advisor Sara Malivia. So continue down that same pathway. So actually what he's mentioning is very accurate. Like if you have the experience and the clarity and conviction, it's a very good mechanism because लगे तो PhD पर you save a lot of time, energy and save the valuable years of your time, like of your life, and you get a PhD at the same time doing the research that you like to do.
So we're just going to jump into logistics and planning. These are very simple points, but like very crucial when you think about it. Now that you've selected your university.
How many of you are planning to go this August? Okay, so logistics makes sense to you all. Okay.
Perfect. Have you all booked your flights yet? Good. So basically, one of the things that you should highly consider is also permitting to where you're going. A lot of airlines probably don't fly there, but the airlines that do, a lot of airlines have an extra piece of baggage for free for students. So if you have a university in your hand, you have an offer letter, you can. I know for a fact that I took British Airways once in 2017. I got an extra free piece of baggage. And when you're wrapping your entire life and going there, for sure that you know, chalo 2 saal ki degree hai, you know you're not going to come back. You need that baggage. I think Air India also does it. So just do your due diligence on that so that you can get extra bag for free.
I think more than the children, I think the parents need that extra bag. मरे मम्मी लोग खाते जो थेपला खाकरा मरे so that extra baggage will be I think less for the student, more for the parent. The mothers will love that extra baggage because हमें पर 23 किलो नो 24 वद्दा અને જો હાલે મને તો કઢી ગની ના વરો તો કિલો કઢી લે છે. So yeah, leverage it for sure.
All
But
the
now you
theplas.
get khakra thepla very good over there.
Another thing is TSA approved locks. So for whatever reason that they find that there's something suspicious in your bag, some achar ka dabba that they don't think is allowed and they need to open it up. If your locks are TSA approved, they're not going to break it. They'll just have a key for it, they'll just open it, that's good. But if they break it, you know, then you don't know what's going to happen to your goods. So make sure that your locks are TSA approved. Another thing very important, divide your belongings in all individual bags. In case you're taking 3 bags, for whatever reason, one is misplaced or lost. You don't want to be in a stranded, like you don't want to be in a new country stranded without, like maybe your essentials, your clothes or whatever. So ऐसा मत डिवाइड करना कि एक ही बैग में बस कपड़े हैं, एक ही बैग में बस खाना है. Don't do that. Divide it equally. In case you lose one bag, you have something to survive. Another thing, when for the same primary reason, if your bag is lost, make sure that you have like either a photograph of whatever is in the bag or a list of everything's in the bag. If you can, put the list in the bag as well. In case it's lost, you can always fight with them being like, these were my things in the bag, I want them. I think you can also get your bag insured. Do you guys know anything about that? If you want to do that and go that extra mile, go for it. They'll get your money back. But so even when you're getting it insured, it's very crucial for you to know what's exactly in the bag, ताकि तुम पैसे वापस ले सको अपने. We'll move on to credit cards and bank accounts. I think for the first thing that you probably are going to do once you go there is open a bank account for yourself. Now, people who are going there, be it undergrad or grad, everyone knows that how America functions. It's big on credit scores. You need a good credit score to survive in the States. I think most of my apartments that I've rented, all of these landlords were really keen on having my credit score in check. You're not going to get an apartment if you don't have a good credit score. Or you need like a sponsor who has a good credit score, who's willing to sponsor you and take that accountability and responsibility. So in order for that, I know a lot of banks that will give you credit cards as a student who are not making money, who don't have like an EAD card, which is like that employment-based card that you get. I think there's Bank of America. There is, I suppose there's Verizon. I think Verizon does that as well. So please do your due diligence on that as well. Get your credit cards. If you're going for a 4-year degree, 2-year degree, you have enough time to build that credit score. Even if you're spending, say, $20 eating like at some restaurant or just shopping or whatever. And I feel like as students, initially, these banks are not going to give you big amount to spend. They'll probably give you like $1,000 to spend. So it's good for you also. You're also trying to manage and budget. It gets you going, again, once you graduate and have a full-time job where you have a lot of money to manage, you know what you did in school with those bits of money, so it's going to help you in the long run. Again, like application for these is very simple. Just go to the bank. They'll just open up a card. Make sure you take like an identification with you. I think for us as immigrants would be your passport. Just that, show up and they'll take care of everything else. Just download their app and you're good to go. Does anyone have any questions? I know people who are flying.
There your, dollars and notes and coins and all won't work. It doesn't help at all. All that you need is your cards over there. So you need to get used to that here also.
I'm struggling right now. My wallet doesn't have space for paisa and chillar. Do you want to say?
I don't quite remember, but health insurance, I think once you start school, your university has a health insurance, but typically I think you'll go a month prior or like 15 days prior to your school starting because you have to figure out housing and roommates and everything else. I believe you need to take your health insurance here in India for that period of time, and then the next part, like your university's insurance, may continue. That's what I remember, but yeah.
Yes, I think you can take health insurance for those gaps. Be insured all the time in a foreign land, especially at the start. Never, don't even think about playing around that for now. And also, when you're going to university,
just to say, medical expenses it's very expensive there. That's why every moment you need to be insured. So ऐसे मत सोचना कि 15 days only है, बाद में तो है ही. It's not that. Be insured from here. And also you'll have a choice later on, university insurance or from India. Maybe you can throw light on that, Devesh.
No, I remember university was very expensive. You could optionally choose your own insurance in India. I never availed it, but the general thought process was that if you have the university insurance, it's very seamless. Because most universities also have their own hospitals, like there are also medical universities, because in universities there are like big towns by themselves. So I had taken the university insurance, but I don't quite, like if anybody else has a different.
Yeah, I mean we've had some experience where students found that it's cheaper, so they took the insurance from here. They did not take the university one, and then when they were sick, they had difficulties getting the claim back. So it's safer to take the university insurance, although it's expensive.
I actually only did the first year that I was at my school, I took the university insurance. All the other 3 years, I think I did Thomas Cook, if I'm not mistaken. She's right. I would, if I had to do things differently, I wouldn't have done that. But another thing I've noticed, a lot of universities don't even waive off that insurance thing. I think a lot of universities, it's compulsory to take the university's insurance. So I had to do a lot of jugaad to get myself waived. Do not recommend it, but I'm just saying that a lot of universities don't even do that. So make sure that your university does it. I would recommend just take university's insurance just to be safe.
Maybe you can talk about the dental and the other aspects of health.
So on the dental, I would just say one thing. Before you go, मतलब you know healthcare is very expensive in the US particularly. तो जो को भी आन जो cavity filling, root canal जो को भी वे, I think it would make sense कहीं इंडिया में कराईने वनो अने होते जटला ओछा मेडिकल खर्चा ओटलो सारो. So that's one thing I think.
ખર્ચા ટાઈમ એનર્જી બેન્ડવિથ ફોકસ મળે સો ઇટ્સ મેની થિંગ્સ એટ સ્ટેક પૈસો તો ને યુ કેન ફિગર્સ ઇન સમ વે બટ ધ બેન્ડવિથ એન્ડ ધ એનર્જી વેન યુ નોટ વિથ યોર ફેમિલી સો એનીથિંગ એન્ડ એવરીથિંગ જસ્ટ गेट इट चेक्ड हेते आई हैव फ्रेंड्स जो होते तकलीफ है दे फ्लू हियर गॉट इट डन हियर एंड देन वेंट बैक
And it
बिकॉज
was
दे
still
couldn't get
cheaper.
the
And
good
it was
service
still
there.
cheaper.
And cheaper and less like headache basically.
I heard even people do the haircut here and then go.
Yeah.
$90. I've cut my own hair for the past, yeah, New York price is different. For the past 7 years, eyebrows, haircut, everything was, I was the salon at home. And with the dental thing, actually, my personal experience has been, I went in a lot of rush, and the dentist that did my root canal did not put a cap on it and did not inform me that she did put a cap on it. For the past 5 years, I haven't eaten from one side of my mouth. I just did my extraction. The tooth wasn't, there was nothing left to be saved. But just things like that, it's extremely, extremely expensive. Even though I was making money, मुझो वरी ते जीव ज न थियो कि आऊं एटला पैसा ॾियां खाली एटलो दंद कढायला कईने सो आई वाज लाइक इट्स ओके आई एम जस्ट गोना ईट फ्रॉम वन साइड आई डू नॉट नीड 32 टीथ बट डोंट डू दैट आई वुड नॉट रेकमेंड इट
અને
A lot of insurance do, but it's very minimal. So my insurance,
Insurance
when you
never
need it,
covers
it won't help
dental
you.
treatment.
જ્યાં જરૂર પડી તો હેલ્પ ન કરી
So नॉर्मल मेडिकल इंश्योरेंस में डेंटल नतो वे पण मुझो एम्प्लॉयर वो मेडिकल इंश्योरेंस अलग डने थे अने डेंटल अने विजन हूँ हंजो अलग थी डनाते सो ही भी अकड़ो मुँह पेको थियो अकड़ो डेंटल एपिसोड थियो वो मूके एंड आई हैड टू गो टू द डेंटिस्ट इन द US ऐं चेक कयो कि इंश्योरेंस कटलो कवर कए तो बट लकीली आई मीन अगर कैनी बी इफ दिस हैपन्स विथ एनी वन ऑफ यू कैन डू दिस वो लोग मुझो अकड़ो एक्सरे काढिया अथनि जो तव्हां चयो एक्सरे डिजिटल ज हूंदो सो मुंहिंजी इंडिया में हिकिड़ी कज़िन डेंटिस्ट आहे त आउं चयो की हू एक्सरे जी सॉफ्ट कॉपी मूंखे ॾेई सघंदा करो त हू मूंखे सॉफ्ट कॉपी मूंखे ईमेल कयां अने हू सॉफ्ट कॉपी आउं मुंहिंजी कज़िन खे हलायो चयो यार ही मुंहिंजो दंद जो अहिड़ो थियो आहे सो वॉट डू यू थिंक नीड्स टू बी डन दे आर रेकमेंडिंग क्रेज़ी ट्रीटमेंट त हू चए की न अने तोखे अगरि कोर लॻे तो हू जेको मेडिसिन्स ॾिना आया हू खाईने इफ़ यू आर ओके अने तूं 6 महीने में इंडिया अचे थो त वाट नेर न खां पोइ तूं ख़ाली हुते जो ट्रीटमेंट जो कॉस्ट पुछी गनज इफ़ इट इज़ अबव अ सर्टन अमाउंट कराई गन न खां पोइ न कराई सो इट मेक्स सेंस कहीं एक्सरे जी सॉफ्ट कॉपी घनी गनो सो ऑन एंड सो फोर्थ.
Basically, telemedicine, you can rely on telemedicine, India and US or India, whichever country.
Additionally, I'd say basic set of antibiotics, paracetamol, ये मड़े basic medication जो भी है ये मड़े दवा वड़ाती गने वनो because the doctors there will tend to not recommend medicines until पूरी diagnosis थी है because they can either get sued or insurance won't pay them. तो generally our experience has been कि यार मतलब खबर आई मतलब इंडिया में जो ये ट्रीटमेंट मेथड है ना कि दवा देवो रिएक्शन करो अंजो पर ती कड़ी वो कि एक्चुअली करो थियो है वो ओडा न तो थिया एंड यू लूज अ लॉट ऑफ टाइम व्हेन लाइक यूनिवर्सिटी में यू कांट मिस school and things like that. So I would suggest take a bunch of medicines from here and then but do consult a doctor to get like
So
this.
there are two things. One is that to get an appointment with a doctor is very, very difficult. You will not get the appointment in the first place for 2 months, 3 months, or maybe even more. And second is if you get an appointment, they may not give you the medicine. You can't go to the counter and just buy the medicine. So it's very tough. So you carry your own medicine in that.
I want to add one point and this has been our experience. So मुझे husband जो दंत बहुत जोर थी दुखियो थे अने the only option was extraction. असी बिंगमटन में रहते it's a very small town अने मरे Indians थोड़ा एकदम connected वा त अकड़ा डेंटिस्ट अंकल इंडियन हू बीजे कोई अंकल એટલે हू एक्सट्रेक्शन्स नते क्या पण अने असा क्या डेंटल इंश्योरेंस न हो तो हूँ बीजे अकड़े डेंटिस्ट डॉक्टर के रेकमेंड क्या अने हूँ गाल क्या the who dentist non-Indian, I think who probably कोई Islamic country जावा, तो who मुझे husband जो teeth $150 में कर देना, which is like extremely cheap. That is like dirt cheap. But agar if it is like so bad, right? Ke there are means there are these like legal jugards. I will speak about it, right? There are these legal jugards which you can do over there, and this again points to the fact that who orkhane wo vadi khana hai. Again, it points to that fact.
Even over the counter medication, if you can just take from India, please do, because it's extremely expensive.
But carry everything with a prescription. Don't carry just medicines घर पे है तो लेके गए साथ में, ऐसे नहीं है. You buy it from the counter and carry the prescription, the doctor's prescription.
Yeah. Like something as simple as for my teeth itself, like I feel like I went to like a C.V.S.S. To just get something for the pain, and I probably paid like $20 for it. And you know what it was? Lavang jo tel. And my mom's like, I could have sent it to you and would have costed less. But just things like that, just carry from home, and that extra baggage will help. We can go to the next slide. So just want to talk to you guys a little bit about visa and the biggest problem that I think a lot of us have faced in our journey. Just to give a holistic idea of what visas are what. So if you're going, most of you all are going for masters. So after you graduate from your masters, you get, if it's a STEM masters or a non-STEM masters, that's a very big deciding factor. I went for a non-STEM undergrad degree. So once you graduate, you only get 1 year of OPT, which is basically you're eligible to work legally once you've graduated. The job has to be, by the way, in particular to what you graduated in. You can't just get a job in anything you want. It needs to be, otherwise your visa is not going to be approved. So you just get 1 year, which is 12 months of OPT if it's a non-STEM major. If it's a STEM major, it gets extended for 2 more years. So you get additional 2 years, which is a total of 3 years of OPT. So that's the basic idea of how like this will work. Again, I urge people to go for STEM degrees just because it's better for like ROI. You get the investment that you've made. For someone who did a design degree, most of the design colleges don't have STEM majors, but again, this is something that I didn't do. This was my shortcoming, but I would really urge a lot of people who are going for design, please look for universities who have programs that are designed for STEM in particular. There are a lot of universities that do that. So make sure your design is
just like
your
to
degrees.
add even for finance. Even those who are going for finance, those who are going for design, try to look out for STEM courses, and it is possible.
It is, I agree. Like, even if you take up like a minor or something, they can turn it into a STEM course.
Yeah, like there are B schools, like MBA schools में पण गचवाई लोगों MS in something करना ही नहीं, they make it a STEM. So universities also have an incentive to make it STEM courses. So somewhere there are many loops and corners there. So if you look around and find, you will find like there are people.
Even medical. So all these courses, try to look out for STEM courses.
And STEM is science, technology, engineering, math. So these courses typically are given more supported for working in America, at least in America, which is except for 1 year of normal OPT, you get 2 more years to work without.
Even there was a student who went for law, and she took up the STEM course. It really helped her. So whatever field that you're looking out for, there is a possibility. And anyway, tech is there for every field. So try to have some component of tech along with it. So look out for a STEM course.
Like they mentioned, having said that, if for whatever reason your degree is not a STEM degree, which is what happened to me, I wanted to work there for longer so that I could justify and could get my ROI back. What I did was something called as Day 1 CPT. Now what Day 1 CPT is, I think most of you all who are going to study there for even if it's undergrad or grad school, there will be a time where you will be doing an internship, and that will come under CPT. A lot of courses are designed around that, like I had to do an internship in order for me to graduate, and that comes under CPT. So CPT is something that if you take up a job while you are studying, comes under the realm of CPT. If you take up a job once you have graduated, comes under the realm of OPT. I do not know.
So OPT stands for Optional Practical Training and CPT stands for Curricular Practical Training. So while you are studying, if you are working, that would be a part of your curriculum. So Curricular Practical Training. And once you have finished and graduated, then if you still want to work, that is called Optional Practical Training, OPT.
CPT number of, more than hours, it's the days. So I think you can't exceed more than, it's between 4 to 6 months. If you exceed working more than those months, you are not eligible for an OPT after. So which is what happened to me. What I was doing when you say day one CPT, I was working full time at an advertising agency, and I was also enrolled in school full time. How it benefited me was I got 2 more years so that I could apply for my work visa. That's my H1. I got 2 more years to also work and stay in the United States. But once I graduated, which was literally this April, I could not get my OPT even though my master's degree was a STEM degree, because I used up all my OPT days in my CPT working full-time while I was studying full-time. So just another thing for people who want to, this is an option, but it also has a caveat, which is the fact that एक बार तुमने ग्रेजुएशन कर लिया, उसके बाद तुम्हें काम करने को नहीं मिलेगा. A lot of people also do this thing where, what if you have the funds to do so? I was paying for my own degree, so it was like I was making the money and was putting it in my degree as well. A lot of people who have money at their expense, what you can do is you can work full-time and study full-time for that period of time, that is 4 to 6 months. So do that for 4 to 6 months. Speak to your employer. Tell your employer, hey, I'm just going to take like a sabbatical for a bit because I have to do this visa thing. And then once you graduate, you can actually get that 3 years of OPT. So you have a degree, you worked, you just needed that 1 year of break. So if you can do that, that will work wonders for you.
Just wanted to add about the sandwich program, the co-opt program. You're going to talk about. So the co-op program is where you can work for 7 to 8 months in between your entire educational program. So suppose if your education is a 2-year program, it will be 2 plus 8. So you do your first 2 semesters, go for 8 months for your internship, and then do your 2 semesters. How does this help? One is you get a work ex. The internship can get converted to a job in future. You earn so you can pay the fees for the next 2 semesters. So the sandwich program is offered in some universities. You can find out that that's really, really helpful. And we have recommended that to many students who have taken it up, and they're doing very well because of that.
I also would like to mention the Day 1 CPT program that I'm talking to you about. I think this should only be taken up in like worst case scenarios. Like if you're really desperate to stay back, or if you're really looking for opportunities, because I think there are only 10 universities that provide that program. Only 10 universities across the United States give you the opportunity to work at the same time, study full time. So, and those universities probably are supremely far from you, and you, in order to maintain status, you have to go in person once a month. So you have to like account for all of these things. Another thing, while you're on this CPT program that I was, it's not recommended to travel to India if your visa is expired, or even if you have a valid visa, it's not recommended to travel to the States or back to your country, because they might just easily deny you entry. Which was also one of the reasons I could not come back home for like the kind of years that I did not, which was 5 years. So again, this is like at most desperation if you want to choose it, but it comes with its own like boons and blessings and stuff.
Yeah, I think this slide was technically just a compilation of everything that we covered last year on logistics. So we may just skip the slide because this will be anyway shared with everyone. Most of the points were already covered by the team here.
Yeah, so we talked about the practical aspects of going to a different country to study, but there are these personal and social development things also. One of the biggest things is you have to take care of yourself by yourself. होड़ा मम्मा नहीं वे, होड़ा पापा नहीं वे, होड़ा कोई ज नहीं वे. तो पाण अले पाके पनके पन्नी संभालनु खपदो. It is a very big deal. Okay, and I mean it is a double-edged sword, right? Ke, yeah, you have to be by yourself, but it's also an opportunity to learn to be independent, right? Ke, you learn your your life skills, right? Whether it is cooking, washing, planning your time for the day, making sure you reach your classes on time, making sure you do your assignments on time, right? So anybody who doesn't know cooking, who doesn't know basic garvakruji chiju, you might as well learn it now. This is a good time to do that. Okay, it is a great opportunity to learn new skills, right? Career related skills, life skills, like I mentioned, communication skills, etc. Right? For me, this going abroad has really helped me with my career skills as well as connecting with people and all of that. Going to, like, I can speak for the US, everything is in great order, right? Traffic made time sir made barabar hale, people will only go in one direction. Made chiju made sarkhu payu mein, grocery store mein made sarkho ve, the trains are always on time, everybody's on every I mean people are on time, everything, right, is in order. And India, it is the opposite thing, right? I gaadi halai done samit hich bijo koi kache wana, right? We are built for like a jugaad mindset, right? Ke, oh, we know how to tackle such situations, right? So we have a innate skill, right? I call it legal jugaad, right? Legal jugaad means do it, basically it is the ability to survive in uncertain situations, right? There are certain things that just come up on you and you don't know how to handle it, right? The living in an ordered society and having the skill, right, to tackle uncertain situations is a deadly combination. And that is what makes us, like Indians, right, thrive everywhere. So, asa jakra family friends, hoda Alaska vyava, it is frigidly cold over there. Pa hoda poni ke koi mendi lagai wadi malle vai. Right? So, Alaska mein kya mendi lagai na, pa malle na. So that is what it is, right? So order plus legal, okay? Legal is very important. Don't do anything illegal, right? But order plus legal jugaad is a very deadly combination and we should use it. We should most certainly use it. It just comes to us naturally, okay? And this saying I learned from my mother-in-law, right? Orkhani bahudi khan hai. Khan is a mine, and you heard me mention that a number of times over here, right? The English word for it is networking. Basically, have your contacts, make sure you stay in touch with people. People in, it doesn't matter. Internet, WhatsApp, even suppose when I went, right, the telephone bill was like $1 a minute is how much I had to spend for calling India or anywhere, right, like out of US. But that is not the case anymore. So make use of it, right? Stay in touch with people like anja friends, anja families, or even cold call, right? Like Viral said, right? Very important. If I'm looking for a job, even here, India में पण, right? and मुझे second का third connect में कोई ओळखाण मारो आया हम company में, तो I will send a soft email, right? Hey, I'm this, I'm connected with this person, or I call that other person whom I know and I say, hey, can you connect me with this person? And then I go and do a cold call, right? That connection, that networking will take you places, will take you way ahead, okay? Very important, right? And paan ki like kachi mein, right? Ke gaam jayo, that is a first statement, and it is a very, like, on hindsight, on Nandinia, that I refuse to mention that statement, right? Now I do. I have learned. Right? So that is the host family system. I can speak about the US host family system, right? So Cojoin is a website, do check it out, right? They have regional directors based on the states, and they are happy to help, right? Very happy to help. Of course, panke pan khabar honi khapai ke, like, they may not babysit you, they may not spoon feed you, But if you have some real trouble, you need real help, right? You are stuck somewhere, or you have to make a decision which you're not sure about. Maybe you're new over there, right? Then happily call them. They'll be very happy to help you, very happy to assist you. I have done that. So, so take help and give help and pay it forward. Okay?
I'd just like to add something about the host family. So Seva Samaj has been in connect with the Kojain for more than 3 decades, and we have been helping out students to connect over there with the host family. So what we do is, you've seen that registration list. Can you, Shubhda, just show it up? This registration list that you saw, this will get updated. This is not the last list. This will all get updated, so you make sure that your details are there here. If you make sure that you registered and your details are there, even if you pen written something, make sure that you fill in the Google form, because we are referring only to that, to the registration list. That list will get updated and that list will be shared with the Kojain body over there. And they will then find out the families in the different cities where the student is going to go. And that family will get allotted to every student. So different families for different students. But at the same time, the expectations have to be, you have to be watchful of that. We cannot expect them to come कि ये मुके एयरपोर्ट ते कोठेला छे, पो मुझे घर गोते दिए, पो मुके घरे रहला कोठे वने, पो मुके खरीदीला कोठे वने, मुझे बैंक अकाउंट खोलनी. We can't expect all that. They are all working. Most of them are working. Monday to Friday, they are all busy with work and their own family and their own things. Weekend, they are preparing for the week. And they have little time which they spend with their own self and the family. In between all this, they are quite generous to find time, to put in efforts, to help out students in whatever they need. So you can definitely ask help, there's no doubt about it. But things that you really can't manage and you really need their help. Yes, there are a bunch of host families where the people they may be retired or they may not be working or whatever. They are the ones who can go out of the way. They go to the airport, they'll take them shopping. They may be living single, so they can spend the weekend with them, with a student. They may do. Now, if I'm in one city and if I heard my friend being treated well in another city, I may say I don't have a good host family. But that's not the case. Host family is not to do your daily things which you are supposed to. They are there to be of help to you when you need them. When students have fallen sick, parents don't have a visa to reach there. There is nobody there. Host family comes to rescue. एड़ो भी बन्यो है कि स्टूडेंट्स जी फीस भरे जो टाइम आवियो, the money is getting transferred by the parents to the child in their account, but for some reason the money did not get transferred. There they will not wait, they won't give you extension, the fees has to be paid. Host families have helped them there. In COVID times, host families have helped. Sometimes when the students' parents have died over here during the COVID time, they have done the counseling, they have taken them to their home, helped them. So there are a lot of things that the host family does. Collectively, if we look at it, there's lots that they do. But we cannot expect them कि मुके airport ते भी कोठेला छे, मुझे मड़े कम कहिए. That is over expectation. There are students who said, अरे तो मुके तो contact भी नहीं क्या. मुझे फोन नता उपाड़ी है, फोन होते उपाड़ी ज नतो कोई. You want to put a mail to them. Nobody will pick up unknown phones. जो phone अनि वटे saved हुए तो बात कहिंदा, because they have lot of other issues there of unknown calls. એટલે ઈ blank calls તો કોઈ ગંદા જ ન હોતે. And we are very used to, અકડો સીધો phone number મળ્યો તો સીધો phone કરે છે. मुझे फ़ोन नता हो पाणी, they are not going to pick up. So there are ways and processes in which you contact the host family. आके host family अकड़ोकत मल्दी, it will come to you on the email and you will also send them an email with your number. And then the whole process will start. So they are there when you really need them. Yeah.
इलाबेन, सोनल बेन ने बताया कि किसी के साथ में कनेक्ट करो, कोई भी कनेक्ट नहीं हो रहा है ना कहाँ भी, एक ही सेवा समाज में कनेक्ट करेंगे, 3 जन हाजिर रहेंगे 24/7, डॉक्टर इलाबेन डेडिया, लेक्स केनिया ने लेक्स जैन.
So I just wanted to give you this example. Like during the COVID time, we had actually suggested the students not to go. I'm talking about 2020 August. March, May, 21st March or whatever that declared COVID. August, they wanted to go. For whatever reason, it got delayed and they went later. And the van was supposed to come and pick them up from the airport, the university van. Generally, they do that, the universities. The van was not, it was not possible for the van to come and pick them up. They were lost, they didn't know what to do. There it is day, but here it is midnight. There is this time gap which is there. So they contacted us, we were able to connect them to some family nearby to that airport because they had no clue. Of course, they had the host family which is in the city where they were supposed to go. But in the airport, and from the airport was 4 hours drive. So then we had to find a family who could go and rescue them. So there have been a lot of such instances. Jadita Devesh has torn his ligament through some sports activity. Some student there went for some sports and fractured the leg very badly. Very badly. He had to be hospitalized, had to be operated. He didn't know anyone. Hatenu asi logo form mein lakha rahi hota. Do you need a host family? Students tick. And this student had written no. Why? Because there were 2-3 of them going from here. Asi tamare friends hain aisa ke jarur nahi. Asi samjhayo कि होस्ट फैमिली में आके नुकसान ना है आके जकी तकी जैर पण आके जरूर पैते ही हेल्प कइंदा you don't need help, don't take the help, but at least you have a choice. That time he had said no. Now once he got stuck over there, the friends had college, they had assignments, they had exams, and then जो operation जो fixed थे होते parents वडे visa नवा, they couldn't go. One host family couldn't help because they are also working. So we had to find 4 families who could take turns. Somebody who could take him to the hospital, somebody who could be in the hospital, somebody who could bring him back after 2 days or 3 days. 2 families stayed there during the surgery which took 6 hours. It was a major surgery. These families pulled in and paid the money also. Payments, jo ko bhi kare jo. So there are a lot of such incidences that happen. Parents are frantically calling. Every half an hour they are calling. Kare ki na sage, vane na sage. They are not able to help, but they are anxious. Chanda hai. We understand that. So host family is helpful in such situations. Some calamity comes in, the family is there for you. कुछ नहीं है तो कोई बात नहीं, दिवाली होली सेलिब्रेट करो उनके साथ. That is anyways there. We don't wish that you go through a calamity. We only wish that you enjoy with them. But if something like that happens, then the host family is there. And it is not one episode. Such several episodes have happened. Many such incidences. We all know that 2020, April, May, we were all in the house. वैसे ही USA also people were in the house. But when the student lost her father here, there was no flight to come down. She wanted to help her mother. She was the only child. She couldn't come. She was completely broken. We had the host family go and meet her, take her to their house, console her, counsel her, help her, and do whatever. So host family has a different role, which we all need to understand.
Apart from the host family being a help to the student, for us, in my case, Prashant Savla, he used to stay in Amsterdam. So he was my host family, and I used to stay in the south of Netherlands. There was a 3-hour distance. But still, during COVID times, I was in the batch of, I went in 2019, so COVID struck in 2020. So my parents here were getting very anxious. What's he's going to do, and is he going to come back? What is the situation out there, etc. And they were just asking me to come back to India. After leaving everything, there were some rescue flights available for Indians coming back to India. And at this time, my host family intervened because they knew the situations in Netherlands were very perfect. There was no problem. And our parents were not trusting us. So they were the people who actually helped us, help our parents to calm down. So it was not only useful for us, but for our parents as well.
And the host family is not only in the USA. We have host families in Canada, we have in UK, we have in Australia, we have in Germany. We do have certain host families in most of the countries where the students go to study, now including China. Yeah, you can continue.
Yeah, so the Kutchi host family is one such connect, right? Each college generally also has an Indian student organization. They also are an amazing bunch, right? They are there to, first and foremost, loneliness, right? There isn't anybody who is similar to you. So they organize events, they organize, I know at Binghamton, they organize when students come to JFK, and Binghamton is 4 hours away. They organize a bus, so they planned so that all the Indian students come in the same flight. They organized a bus to take them to Binghamton, right? And initially, at Binghamton at least, they host students for 2 or 3 days till the student finds housing. So there is also the Indian Student Association. Make sure you are in touch with all these organizations, people.
The Indian Association, which is you'll find on the website of the university, which is very, very useful. Host family, of course, but the Indian Association also helps you. So it's good to be in touch with them. And there are a lot of groups on the social media, which you can also take help of. And as she said, the buses are arranged, but many of them, they have their own cars, they give lift if they're going to the temple, Jain Derasar mein Vanda mein, Paryushan je time where, Diwali where. So they ask, they ask you if you want lift, and they can take you and bring you back and all that. So they make you feel at home. That's a very good thing about them.
Okay, we can go to the next slide. Yeah. So ethical concerns, right? I spoke about legal jugaad. You can do jugaad, but make sure it's in the realm of all the laws. Okay. Strictly follow the rules. Very important, right? Whether it is traffic rules, college rules, immigration rules, do not break them. They are only in your, they are not in your benefit. Don't break them. At least I can speak for the US. They mean what they say. So if they are telling you you're doing a good job, yeah, you're doing a good job. If you are not doing a good job, they'll tell you straight on your face. Okay, if they say they are coming at 5 p.m., they will be there at probably 4:58 or 59 p.m. Don't be late. Okay, be on time. Then you probably heard this from the start of this session. Do your assignments by yourself. Very important, right? Just like the SOPs, that soft skill continues. You can seek help. If you're stuck somewhere, you don't know how to do your assignment, that's fine, right? You can ask for help, but complete it by yourself, right? Don't cheat, because if you're cheating, you're only cheating yourself. You're not cheating anybody else. The professors have various tools to figure out if you copied something from anywhere, right? Whether it is software, a piece of code, or it is English. They have the needful tools for that.
Just to add it, if you're caught in plagiarism, especially with assignments and all, you can be debarred from the course also. You can get deported back to your country. So be careful.
Yeah. Be on time, submit your assignments and tasks on time, reach an event on time. Timeliness is very important and highly valued. Another big concern over there is the food. We being vegetarians, like pure vegetarians, do check all the labels. Very important. Okay. So those are some of the ethical things that we have to keep in mind.
just had a quick question, quick thing to add on the plagiarism thing. If you don't copy, but if someone else is copying your stuff, both of you could end up getting debarred or deported. So it's not just कि तुम किसी का copy मत करना, तुम अपना भी किसी को copy करने दे रहे हो तो think about it twice.
Just before you go to this employment, I'll just talk about the campus work that, the campus jobs that one is permitted to do, the 20 hours campus jobs. You are permitted to work on the campus only. There were 4 students, 4, of which 3 were K.V.O. and 1 was a Gujju, who were found working in restaurants outside the campus. And there was one transaction which was through the bank. Rest, they had got some cash. That one bank transaction, they had come to India for a holiday, and when they went back, there itself the immigration officers took them inside, and they did not give them any option of even clarifying. They just deported all the 4 of them back. And all 4 didn't know, they were all in different cabins. They didn't know that the other one is in, because they were questioning them, and finally they were all deported back. So if you're found to do illegal work outside, just to add to what Sonal said, don't do things that you're not permitted. It doesn't work over there. And the law is so strict. There have been students who have also gone behind the prison. So please be careful wherever you are. The law of that land is very, very important to understand and abide by it.
Okay, so challenges during work in the US. So this should come, this should not come as a surprise. A certain percentage of jobs in the US is for US citizens only. So since we go on certain visas, it's like even if you apply, you will be auto rejected within seconds. So, you won't be eligible for all jobs over there. That is one. Secondly, unemployment. So OPT gives you 90 days, that is 3 months of unemployment. And on H1B, you have 60 days, that is 2 months of unemployment, out of which 45 is the real deal. 15 you will be spending for paperwork. Now these things, like OPT pe kitna unemployment hai, H1B pe how long can you wait before a job, everything will be a part of a seminar that most likely your university ka international center hosts. And they do this every sem for the students who are graduating. So do make it a point to kind of register and actually attend those. Maybe you can attend them twice. Like even if you're not graduating, just go for them. The reason being, it's not just, 90 days and 60 days. The thing is, even when you are applying for your OPT, you cannot apply to OPT 90 days before you before you graduate. So there are all these timelines ki itne din se pehle ye nahi, itne din ke baad wo nahi. So there are a lot of dates and times that you need to take care of. It's best that you go attend these seminars, and whatever is in the 2024 ka laws and stuff, your university will tell you. Next up, I would say 2 things. So I graduated in COVID, and yes, there were just no jobs. People were not hiring, freezing. So what ended up happening with a lot of my batchmates was that they, if they start OPT right away, they will start accruing unemployment days. And if you meet the quota, then you have to leave the country because you haven't found a job. So what most people end up doing is, even though technically I am done with my studies, they will delay their graduation by enrolling for 1 extra semester, for 1 extra summer. So these are kind of hacks. If you are supposed to graduate in May 2025, you can do that in August 2025. So you have to pay the fee for 2-3 months extra, but that gives you time to kind of hunt a job on the side. Another thing what most people do is unpaid kind of voluntary employment. This can also be paid, but it depends on your advisor. But since your first year of OPT, you can work in your university itself. It can be paid or unpaid. So people did not have a job after COVID, and what they ended up doing is, whoever was their advisor, professor that they were close with, they would just tell them that this is the situation, and if I don't find a job, I will have to go back to my country. So mostly, advisors would give them some research position. It should be 20 hours a week if I'm not wrong. Sorry, 40 hours a week. So you would get a volunteer or paid position. It would not be a great salary, but it would stop your unemployment clock from sticking. So these are kind of certain hacks that people would do, but again, make sure that you are doing legal things and not illegal things. Uh,
You can do this social work either in the university, the unpaid work, or you can even do it in hospitals.
No, no. This will not be social work. It has to be related to your major. So if you graduated in finance, the work has to be in finance. If you graduated in computer science, it has to be computer science. So make sure, this is what I was saying, that don't fall on the wrong side of law. Know the law of the land and make sure you stick to it.
Yeah, but besides that, you can do social work in hospitals or universities. So there is a separate, if you don't get your, your period for work, if you're not finding your work in that duration.
Uh, so another thing is when to start job hunting. I would say yesterday. Even if you have still not reached the US, it is yesterday. So two major points I want to emphasize. The moment you step foot in the US is when your internship hunt should begin, ideally. Because majority of the hiring cycles, even if your internship will start in the summer, your hiring and interviewing for all of that will start in August. So your internship hunt should ideally begin in August. What I and a lot of my batchmates were initially thinking was, acha, we have just landed, let's see what classes we take here. I'm still not prepared for interviews. No. If you are still in India, start preparing for your interviews, but do internship hunting right away. Secondly, same for your job hunting. Most likely, if you already have an internship, you can try and convert that into a full-time job after you graduate. But if not, the moment your internship is over or your second year of master's starts, you should be ready to start applying and interviewing for your full-time job application. This is, I would say, irrespective of whatever, COVID mein job nahi tha, ya abhi filhal there are a lot of layoffs happening. If you have a job offer in hand, it will just make your life much more easier. Now that being said, just one thing, even if you have a job in hand, what did happen to a lot of people during COVID is, they thought, acha, internship wali company is giving me a full-time, ab to why should I do job hunt? And they gave up. And then COVID happened, and then that very company who had given them an offer was saying, sorry, we have to take these offers back, we have to rescind them. So be in interview mode 24/7 is what I would suggest. You are going there to study, know your, be ready for interviews, and I would say applications, you should keep at it all the time.
Just wanted to add here, when you have a 2-year program, many students who go from here, jana hai, jana hai, jana hai. But the moment they reach there, aana hai, aana hai, aana hai. So what they're trying to find out is, after one semester or two, they want to come back to India to meet their family. But that is not advisable. It's good to do an internship in the whatever shortest duration, 4 weeks, 8 weeks, whatever time you have, it's good to do an internship during that time.
Agreed. Also, another thing, the number of jobs we apply to is often in the hundreds. This, I don't know if this is, like a knowledge that everyone possesses, but my own cousin, she's in India, and she faced like 2 or 3 job rejections, and she was very like down, demotivated, depressed, ki, arey, shit, 3 companies rejected me. I'm like, 3 is not even, I can't tell you, like I have applied to more than 100 jobs. Sometimes it is 100, 200, 300, 400. Depends on the market conditions, what it looks like. You have to have an Excel sheet of what company, what role, who you are talking to, like what HR manager, so on and so forth. But make sure that your job applications will have to be in the hundreds. Especially when it is a tough time in the US or any other country for that matter, you have to make sure you are putting in the number of applications. I've mentioned
That's even in the good times, you need to apply to a good number, even in the good times.
Right.
And as again, I would say, the networking helps here. Reference really helps in your internships and placements also.
Definitely. And I have mentioned there like mass applications versus quality applications. So often people just do a LinkedIn quick apply. Sure, you may do that to pad the numbers, but the way she said, like networking, make sure you are also putting in enough quality applies. All the networking that we started from now until you got to your university, leverage that. whoever you know, your seniors, your juniors, not juniors obviously, your seniors, everyone you know, try to get a referral in their companies. The referrals will work faster than just a normal job application.
I just like to say something here. Students who are going to make their application through the counselors or the agents, whatever, and sometimes the parents are working on the applications. Even the loan applications that come to the K.V.O. organizations, some of them are being filled by the parents. What is the student doing? बहुत busy है वो, very busy. क्या कर रहा है वो? पढ़ रहा है. Full day पढ़ रहा है और कुछ कर ही नहीं रहा है. These are questions that you ask yourself. And here, the same student, when is alone there and has to apply to hundreds of corporates for the job, does not have the confidence to do that. We have seen such students. So that is why this ABC step is where you do your things yourself.
And again, like
Sorry, I want to add one point to the job applications. So now there are softwares which match your resume to your job description. Okay, so your text of the resume should include phrases from the job description. Okay, a lot of folks, so it is like a black hole, right? You apply to 100 and you won't hear anything at all. It is because of this. So and of course the text has to match according to your experience. Right, so that way your chances of the resume being read by a recruiter after the software has done its job is much higher. So that's why each job application also has to be customized.
Yeah, it's a very, very valid point.
And when she said each application has to be customized, that is what is quality application. That you make sure the keywords that are in the job description are in your resume or cover letter or whatever that is. Another thing.
I had one more point to add just on this. So our running joke in our friends was resume apply करना is like पाताल में फेंकना, because nothing's coming back. It's like cosmos में तुमने भेजा है resume, no one's responding. Whether someone is reading, you don't know. And on quality applications, so post my internship hunt, so I managed to get an internship and a co-op. And then when I was looking for my jobs, what I realized is the idea of quality applications. So what I had done, where I worked in a consulting company. So I think while I was doing my internship, which was probably 1 year before I was trying to get a job, I looked at that company, so I knew the space I wanted to apply to. I knew few companies that were in it, and then I looked out on all the people in LinkedIn on that company. I knew always that I wanted to come back. So I actually found a person who was in the India office of that company, who had previously worked in the US team. So this guy had studied in US, worked in US, come to India, Bangalore office, and was working in Bangalore office. So I reached out to all sorts of people, like almost cold messages on LinkedIn, everyone personalized to them. And typically, just for your understanding, the threshold is 3 to 4% response rate is a success. So just so that's in your head, okay? I don't know कि do apply क्या है, बजा reply क्या ना, 100 क्या है, बग क्या is success. Don't call it as a failure, because that threshold will matter on your motivation levels. The 100, 200, 500, you just keep sending and you get कि हाँ बतरा जाना, people responded. Now you say कि can I hop on a call with you? Like I have more questions. So actually before my actual first round of discussion or first round of even interview, before my even application of job, at least 7 jane in the companies they galki gado wo. One of them was a person in India, rest were in US, understanding in different teams. So I knew everything about the company, their team size, what projects they are probably working on, what kind of projects they are good at, what kind of clients they have worked with, what the industry is expecting. Even before I met them through the formal procedure. And interestingly, what helped me is formal process te malyo. Of course, we had all the 2-3 rounds, case studies, whatever 8-10 hours of interviews. And when I got the job, and I went on day 1 of job, and just besides my cabin was the same guy, because he had now moved from Bangalore to US. So it's the same guy who had talked the first time. Jinke LinkedIn te reach out kiya wo. That manager had gone back from the Bangalore office to the Atlanta office and was sitting right besides. So we both saw each other, we both recognized, because we had talked over a call for like over an hour. And he ended up being my manager for next 2 years, which incredibly helped me in so many ways, because this guy had been to India, so he directly guided me, okay, India, you have to do this kind of projects will help you. So inside out, like he just helped me in every process. Even right now we are in touch, because, so again, the Urkhan aspect comes in here. But generally, like the quality application, like I was so aware of that company inside out. And more than that, I was so aware of that industry space that any other company which is of similar domain, I would have disproportionate amount of information over any other applicant. Like I literally applied to very, very few companies for a job, like less than the number of fingers in my hand. And I knew I will get one of them because the amount of effort put in each one of them was so deep. Probably hundreds of hours just put on each one of them because हर एक level of the company उनका क्या projects हैं कोई कम थे सके तो कोई detail है मुझे experience कोई match थे तो मड़े research कह लो वो. So that made it very smooth, simple and very targeted. So yes.
No, what Miller said should be a common practice in general. Like wherever you're applying, you must reach out to people from that company on LinkedIn. Reach out to the recruiter directly. And a lot of times the people working at the company, you can also ask them questions like, oh, how should I be preparing myself for this interview? And they will actually tell you कि क्या पूछेंगे, क्या बोलेंगे, क्या करें. You also have an idea of, is the company worth it? A lot of people will actually tell you, no, I hate the company culture. So that is good for you to even be aware, okay, maybe this company is not fit for me. So a lot of these things, I think basic practice, like you said, you have to at least reach out to like 10 people from the company. Especially like if you're applying for like a graphic design role, don't reach out to people from IT. Reach out to people from graphic design. So be also mindful of who are you reaching out to.
And I think on this like so he cop anke samjhaya khapa to is because this is not common practice here. It is extremely common practice there. I have talked to VPs in Lenovo, VPs in other companies just reaching out, okay, I want to know about the industry. I'm fresh out of college. But for them it is not surprising. Even if they are 40 years in the industry, it is not surprising because that's how they started their journey. US this is a very common practice. So it's not surprising that someone reaches out to you for guidance. It's not surprising that a fresh student reaches out to like a VP or a director. In fact, one of the panelists last year, Vinit Dedia, he has literally talked to his idea was I will never reach out to even senior managers. I'll only reach out to people over them. Because he said the moment you get even one crack, if you click, you entire application process is bypass. You don't even need as much applications. So his idea was let's not even target the normal manager level, senior manager level. Let's just target the directors. Who director ने VP level तक गाल कहीं हूँ 15 कंपनी में 13 जना घास नहीं दिंदा 2 जना गालियों ना समझदार जी because your questions will be very silly initially. But with every conversation you will understand their language. You will understand what they are looking at. You know their lens of looking at their own company. So you will understand the nooks and corners of how to narrate your story. How does it fit in? What's the nuance that you want to share specifically?
You'll get to know what they are looking for.
Exactly. So that changes everything because then so once you get the hack of how to attack, then the entire play will be different. It will all look different. Like how you look for an internship will be very different. Rather should be very different from how you look for a job because you should have gained idea of what the play is all about.
And adding to that, one other practice I really developed after I went to the US was whether you are talking to someone just networking or whether it's an interview. After the interview ends, normally they ask you, okay, do you have any questions for me? And mostly, okay, thank you so much. I would kind of ask them samne se ki, okay, so you spent an hour with me, you looked at my resume, can you tell me what better, how can I do better? कि हेडो आए जो को नतो कहीं कि हेडो आए जो को मुके हजी नतो अचे ने मुके हुन मते कम करणु खपे सो ठीक है आई विल हैव 1 2 3 फेल्ड इंटरव्यूज बट माय फोर्थ इंटरव्यू विल बी अ सक्सेस कारण के उनमें थी लर्निंग्स घनी अने आगळ उनके यूज क्यों सो दीज आर या आई मीन बेसिक टिडबिट्स दैट आई थिंक शुड बी कॉमन प्रैक्टिस
Just a little bit on this also. This is not only for job and to talk to the VPs and the presidents. This also applies to universities. You can have access to the professors, but of course there is a way. You have to route it in the right direction. It has to be a mail. They have a way of communication. But you can reach out to them there also. I think we have a lot of slides still. A lot of content is there still. But I would like the audience to ask, I think. If they have any specific questions, I think we should go rather than running the slides now. Yeah. Do you all have any questions? Yeah.
Hi, my name is Divyam Dedia. I'm currently at third year computer engineering in DJ Sangvi. And I'm at a 80-20 split as to masters abroad या फिर masters यहाँ. My considered choice is masters abroad. लेकिन when you were here at my position or my point of view, of course you guys chose from abroad. लेकिन क्या चल रहा था thought में तभी?
We would have different thoughts. So,
My God. I had barely any thoughts because I was 18.
Okay.
But to be very honest with you, I think I was really looking forward to growing, not just like educationally. I think I was a very reserved kid. I was also extremely pampered. And I feel like I wanted to grow as a person a lot. And I don't think any other place could have given me a better opportunity than the US and like just studying abroad in general. Because it's going to give you, of course, education is primary why you're going there. But the other aspects also affect your education and how you look at things and how you look at your job or how you look at things in life. So I honestly urge people to go study abroad anywhere. Just leave your house, go somewhere. If you have to leave and go to Pune, do that. But I think you must leave your house at some point in life.
So I do realize that a lot of what we often talk about. Right, just one quick question for this one. So you said engineering, masters here or masters abroad. A major reason why I think masters abroad is what I chose was that in India I had gone through an undergrad of my major. I did my computer engineering in India, so I knew first, second, third year में क्या था. Because even if the syllabus was good, the way they taught it, I knew lab कैसे चलता है. I knew like I had this thing कि ML आ चुका है. But why was Python not in my syllabus or like the basic programming language we were using until 2018? So I knew कि okay, this is something that I won't get here. See, now you will find IITs which are probably there in terms of the quality of education. But when you look at competition, the number of people giving the GATE exam and cracking it and then doing a master's in IIT versus the number of people giving GRE applying to the US university.
It's a very disproportionate.
Exactly. And secondly, your competition in US, your peers will be from all around the world. Versus here in India, it will be the best, but whoever is local. So I would say that those are two things.
Okay.
I just have a. We'll wait for you. You can sit down. Just one very important aspect which I wanted Devesh to highlight, because there are many students who are going, and this has become a common issue, the mental health aspect. And I thought Devesh, you could highlight a little on that so that students are better prepared. Although I thought of skipping it, but I thought this is important.
All right, so this is more of a personal story. When I went to the US, prior to that, I really didn't face any challenge academically. Excelled in my undergrad, generally had issues nerad nawa. So I was more of a big fish in a small pond. When you get there, like basically they were the best of the best people across the world. So inherently a competitive pressure feel थियो. Secondly, मुझे course had वो कि I didn't have, like I was taking master's courses where you needed the undergrad course as a background, but I really didn't have that background. So course जो pressure feel थे जो चालू थियो. You start, there were new people, new places, new roommates, like a lot of things that I was trying to figure out. And generally, अगर I घर जे बाहर ना रहा, तो about 3 months, 4 months के अंदर homesickness also sets in. Like you will actually start feeling homesick. Problem is you don't realize that. मतलब inherently, however जल्दी mental health जी awareness थी है, तेर न VAD. You don't realize that you're going through all of that. You know, there were about I think 3 months audish. क्या હું આકડો રાજ્યો આકડો કલાકથી વધારે સૂતો જ નહીં હા. And it affects you in several ways. હું ઉગ્યા જો ઉઠ્યો અને આંખમાંથી ખાલી પાણી ન કરાતો. I don't know, મતલબ હું કોશિશ બી ના કરી અને that is how I used to wake up in the morning. The weather doesn't help me. Weather जो part છે એ આંખે ખબર નહીં પે, પણ you will generally start your school in August when the weather is great. The sun is out at 9 વાગે અંધારો થઈ actually. And then November, December set thiya and suddenly 3 વાગે અંધારો થઈ જો ચાલુ થયા. And it's white everywhere, there is no greens. मतलब there is a certain whiff in the air, you start feeling कि मतलब you અંદરથી એક depression જેવી feeling અચે ચાલુ થયા. અને I didn't know where to lean on initially. So I was talking to family, I was talking to everybody. My parents, their visa got rejected. They wanted to come back. like I would strongly suggest parents also apply for your visa because you will need that for the graduation any which ways. And case में host family came to my rescue. मुझे याद है host family का view, and that's the one night that I slept actually, and that got me back a little bit. There are, if you in your fees what you're paying, there is university counselors. They are actually psychologists and psychiatrists with degrees and really experienced. That you're already paying for. That is free of cost available to you. मुझे ना खबर भी, मुझे roommate मुझे guide किया कि मतलब PhD roommate वो, he was a senior. He said तू खाली गाल कर, there is a number in your university services. You call them up. They try to first see whether you're suicidal or not, because then you'll get an appointment right away. But they generally try to like grade क्या in situation में, and they'll let you come in, and they will treat you. They'll give you medication also. Some of the medication is prescribed. Avail those if you are under trouble, like if you're going through this. Lean on to your family. Your family will be your support system, your roommates, your host. Take all the support you need. It's a phase, it will pass. So as much as I'm saying all of these negative things, don't quit. Had I quit, मैं consider करे कि वो क्या हूँ पाछो अच्छा तो इंडिया जाता हूँ भाई के university apply किया तो because मुझे courses were not going in the right direction. I never thought I would be a student जिन grade ओछो अचींदो. Like it's just like shocks like you feel. Just hang in there. मतलब वो जो एक moment like extra कड़े गेड़ी ओड़ा, I feel हाने मुके वो situation वे अने in retrospect I laugh on it कि यार हेडी situation में आऊँ करो हेडो क्यों. But it helped me be who I am. And हाने life में situation कड़ी अच्छा था उनमें मतलब without hesitation मुके वो एक अंदर जो confidence है कि हम fight करेंगे अंदो. And harder situations have come, but like I've been able to stand my ground. Strong, like if everybody goes through this, you don't, like certain people say it out loud, certain people don't say it, but almost everybody goes through it. So just know that this is a phase. You will get through it. Take all the support you need. Take medical support if you need it. If you need it, take that support. It will help you get through it.
Good. Just I have a question now after this. Is there anyone going to Europe? 2 of you, 3 of you, 4, 5 of you.
5.
Okay, 6. What I would suggest is if Dhruvil can just highlight any differences that are there from what has been spoken so far.
Yeah, I'll just quickly go through what's different in Europe than US, Canada, etc. Let's talk about education a bit. Education is, the quality of education is pretty high and it's standardized. So you do not have to care about the brand name that you're coming from. So it's not like Mitibaika student is less smart than a student from Narsi Monji. So the employer will be seeing your education. So you have to be very careful about the kind of module you are selecting, the kind of course you are selecting. That's the first point. The other point is that in Europe, the universities are way more budget friendly than US and Canada. I'm talking about masters and not the diploma courses. You can expect a fees of around 15 to 18 lakhs, and even after that you get a scholarship of around 7 to 8 lakhs. So effectively you can end up paying around 7 to 8 lakhs. That's cheaper than a masters in India as well. This is one thing. And universities also have a lot of budget developing country grants. So for example, the developing countries like India, Bangladesh, the students from those countries get scholarships directly without taking much effort about it, and they do not have very strong GRE and GMAT rules as well. So that's also advantage while studying in Europe. A few challenges that we face recently is the housing crisis. The students are actually living in those ship container houses, but that's not a very rare sight in Europe. Apart from that, the basic things that has already been told, plagiarism, ethics, you have to be very careful about it. And the shift from theory and performance-based Indian mindset to a knowledge and practical-based education system is something that you would want. Next slide.
I'd just like to add, although he's just gone through very fast, housing situation is really bad.
Yeah.
It's very bad. Be very honest about it. finding a house is difficult and finding a good house is more difficult. Also, the rate of inflation is really high. Quality of life is not very great. Education is good. There is no doubt about it.
So right now, with the Ukraine crisis and the refugee crisis that Europe is facing from Israel or from Ukraine, these situations have even got worse.
Very worst. So for those of you who are going to the UK, please be informed that this is the situation. It's not so good.
Specifically for UK, the name of the college matters a lot because there are a lot of fake schools in UK, so we have to be very careful about it.
Okay, so we are done with the slides right now. We can skip the back home. Yeah, we can skip the back home. If there are any questions, they can address. If anybody has any specific questions.
I have a question for Dhwani. She being in the relative field from I am pursuing a career in VFX and animation, and you being in graphics. So I want to ask you what is the job scenario in US currently? Because I am planning for September 25.
There are, honestly speaking, I don't think our industry was affected that much. There are jobs. You won't be, the problem you will face is getting that job sponsored. Because our jobs are not very high paying jobs. We're not tech people, we're not saving lives. So we're not getting paid as much, and because we're not getting paid as much to begin with, the companies don't find it necessary to spend those extra dollars to sponsor your visa. So getting jobs is easy, but the sponsorship is difficult. And maybe the kind of money, please be aware that somebody who's an engineer is going to make $200,000 and you will never be able to make that. So go with that. I mean, you will be able to make that. I don't want to disappoint you. You will, but it'll take you longer to get that. I know people who have just graduated and are making $200,000. But me, I graduated a long time ago, and it'll probably take me 7 more years to hit that ballpark.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Hey, hi everyone. My name is Kevin. Question specific to you. So you spoke about networking, right? So my question is, how can you build a meaningful connection? Like I know hundreds of people out there, but then let's say I meet you today. So how do we keep connected over time, given the fact that we do not have much things in common, or you're not my colleague or not my classmate and so on?
Sure. So the thing is see, if I'm searching for a job, right? I have, let's say I know a third person. On LinkedIn, I know that one of my connects knows this person who's working in that company. Correct? I don't know. It's a cold call. What I would do is I would tell that person in between my connect to, hey, can you connect me with this person? I have got calls like that, right? That they know I work in Sama. They said, can you please connect me to this recruiter? Right? And so that is a cold calling, right? Yeah, you met me today, but next time if you need my help in anything, you can refer to this thing. Hey, I had heard of your seminar. I was wondering, can you help me with this? Or, things like that. And most times people will say, yes, they will help you. Again, it depends, and depends on a couple things. Maybe that person is busy or whatever. The other thing is, it is also how important your question is to you. Right? The second part that comes in is perseverance, right? If that question to you is very important, you can re-forward that email, hey, gentle reminder, I was looking for something like that, can you help me? Something like that, right? After 2 or 3 tries, if I still don't reply, then yes, it's a closed, it depends again on how important your question is, right? So there are different ways. I'll give you an example. A friend of mine, her son just finished engineering, is looking for a job, has found, is a US citizen, has found a research program with a university in the US. He applied once, he didn't hear back. Right? So his mom said, hey, why did you stop at that, right? Follow up again. So when he wrote to the professor said, oh, sorry, it got missed in my pile of emails. Yeah, I think we can do it, whatever. And he's probably going. So beyond one, so there are 2-3 factors, right, on how important your question is, the perseverance, follow up, definitely follow up, because you need help. I mean, it's a bad way of saying it. I don't know if there's a politically correct way of saying that. But if you need help, follow up. Piche lag jao. No problem. Worst case, the person can tell you, okay, don't email me anymore. Okay, then stop. But otherwise, bindas lage raho, hai na? Huh. Huh. Sure. So like I'll give an example of the host family, right? हाणे कच्ची जाई हूँ, बराबर है? दिवाली I'll just say hey happy Diwali, right? I still do that with all my connects, right? I know their birthdays. I'll just say hey happy birthday. I know it's in my calendar. So that way कुछ नहीं तो रात को भी कभी भी लिखा. As far as you don't have to always call, but it's just that one line, right? That person knows I'm connected, right? And then you can continue. So just those little things.
You have to develop the skill.
Little
It'll
things.
come gradually.
Yeah, I was also like that. I also don't like talking too much. I'm the same way. But I am making a conscious effort to follow up. To say, hey, happy Diwali, or you heard something in the news, which is something very nice. So I'll say, oh, awesome, congratulations on this. Or somebody put a WhatsApp status. It is so good. I reply to that person, like his sister, right? We are relatives. So she's in Ahmedabad. We are connected, but I don't talk to her every day. But if she puts something nice in the status, I'll quickly write, oh, this is awesome, or whatever. Something, right? Which connected with you. So that way I'm still in connect with her. Even if I'm talking to her after like maybe a year, right? That connect remains.
Yeah.
Hello, this is Parth Rambia here, and I have a question regarding. I'm at a very initial stage of deciding if I want to go abroad because I'm planning for next fall. So my question is that initially I think Dhwani mentioned that she would be working for a company which she had worked in US and basically in a cheaper rate, right? Compared to India, it's very high, but yes, from there, yeah. So basically the point is that I am studying in finance and I am doing CFA right now, a US based course. But my question is that is it even worth it if it's not a STEM course and it's Indian, if I'm not going to get a visa to stay longer or anything as such, then is it possible that this can be done from here itself? And regarding the point of just, living alone, having responsibilities, learning through it, just find a job in a different city.
I mean, there are companies here that are paying in USD, based in India, but are paying in USD. So you can find those companies that have like global offices and outreach and stuff like that. If it's worth it or not. The thing is, it's such a personal thing. Like you can't, it's not like oranges to oranges. There's a lot of caveat and a lot of things that are in play. I would still urge, and again, when you talk about visa and like the possibility of getting it or not, I know people who've gotten their visas picked in the first round. And everything was as smooth as it could have gotten. So it's all luck based. It's 50% luck, 50%
I would also like
hard
to
work.
add that you can't, there is an entire package of exposure. It's not just moving out of the house and going to another city and getting the experience. It's also going to another culture and getting that exposure with people from different nationalities, how they think, how they work, understanding that. I know people who've gone to INSEAD, to one of the best management schools, studied there for 2 years, come back and settle down in India, and they're running very good global offices here. That 2 years networking and exposure, you can't replace.
Because you're still at a very comfortable pace in India. You're speaking the language, you know the culture, घर पे कोई आएगा झाड़ू फट्टा मार के जाएगा, कोई खाना बना के जाएगा. And you think that these are very little things, they're really not. When you're working a 40-hour like week job, and then you come home and हर रोज़ ऐसे 9 बजे तुमको जब बनाना होता है नानी याद आती है, like you don't want to do it. And उसके बाद बर्तन धो, जो तुमने बनाया 2 घंटा 2 मिनट में तो खा लिया, फिर उसको धोते बैठो, it's too much. And like but that also makes you stronger. Like today, if you put me anywhere, I know I can survive no matter what. In whatever situation, whoever may be, when you're walking into a room, I'm so confident walking into the room, talking to anybody, anywhere. So I think that confidence is what will take you to bigger places in life. So then when you come back, It's easier for you to fit in anywhere.
So you mentioned that whatever degree you might be looking for might not be a STEM thing. So in that case, maybe you can explore also other countries, and Europe might be a destination, or even Singapore might be another destination. So you can widen your search, and something good might come of it. So
There's one specific course in Ireland. I don't know about the university. Masters in financially engineered products. So the kind of for example, derivative. It's an engineered product. It wasn't a product earlier. And mutual funds. These are engineered products. So you can see for those kind of products, which will still give you a STEM background as well.
We can connect you to some students there.
Yeah.
The alumni now, Dublin, Ireland. Yeah. Any other question?
Yeah, my name is Yash. I have a question for Viral. So, like, you graduated in 2020. So, my question is that, it would be a great pressure. Like, you have loans, interest, and then you are not getting any jobs. So, like, how you dealt with it?
So, I don't know how to answer this question. Okay, so yes, it was a tough time, and so I would say the best advice is just look at it one day at a time. You already know कि मुझे क्या करना है. The thing is just to actually sit and do it. So when I did mention, like, we apply to hundreds of jobs. COVID में if 100 था 200 हो गया, 200 था 400 हो गया. So one good thing is that you have something like an accountability partner. So if I'm looking for a job, chances are my roommates or my peers are also looking for a job. So you maybe make a club, sit together and make sure that did you apply 100 today, I applied 200 today. So having an accountability partner is one thing. Secondly, again, networking. Can't stress it enough. Ki when you are looking for a job, contact everyone I would say. Like your seniors, yes, your professors, yes. But your uncle, your gym member, I'll tell you this one anecdote, it'll just give you the perspective. In COVID, people had to just work by themselves. The library system, ya jo bhi, you sit together and work, that was not available. So my advisor just shared a link with us saying this is a new startup. It's called focusmate.com. What that does is you are paired up with a random person on the internet for half an hour. And you just do a video call and you tell them ki for the next half an hour my goal is to apply to jobs. The samne wala person will tell you my goal is to do some statistical analysis, whatever, it could be anything. And then you mute the call, half an hour ke liye you are just working. But normally you would feel ki main akela apne room mein depressed, mayus hoke baitha hu. Instead you have someone else who is now your accountability partner. At the end of that half an hour or 50-minute call, you ask the other person, did you finish your work? That person asks me, did I finish my work? Now this once happened that I was paired up with a New York guy who I told ki I'm applying for jobs. So the half an hour was over and then at the end he asked me, did you apply? I said yes. He's like, and you're looking for jobs, right? Let's exchange emails because my company might be hiring. I have no clue who this person is. But just because I met through this random interaction, he was like, give me your email, take my email, let's just connect. So my point is, Sam Dam Dandve. Try everything you can to connect, network with people. Ultimately, I got my job through a career fair. These are things that happen in your universities. Companies come, give you jobs. Again, during my time, COVID, there were no in-person career fairs. Like how we are talking, this was not there. So then what happened is through a video conference career fair, I gave an interview, I got that job. So, yeah.
And I remember myself sitting there and like thinking, why are they emphasizing so much on networking? I remember like few years back and I was there and there were people here emphasizing again like networking. If you don't know what networking is, just start. And you will know with time. Like it's okay, no one knew probably when we started off. But just do it, like worst come worst, you will feel embarrassed 5 out of the first 10 calls. But it's okay, but if you don't begin, you will never know. So you're much better off starting off early, just get started because that aspect of networking and reaching out to people and being able to just put your arm out there despite knowing who the person is and trusting, that generally is a very strong trait that will help you find opportunities where you can't see anything. You'll actually knock into doors which no one else knocks at. So if you think you do not know networking right now, if you think you don't know how to begin, do whatever you can think of and start. If it can be the silliest thing, it can be the smartest thing. Doesn't matter. Eventually what will matter is like you progress over time. So if you begin will you progress. If you don't begin, there's no way. So I know how it felt when I did not know anything about networking. But if you don't begin, you will never know. So just start. It can be as silly. First 100 people will not even talk to you. They will not even respond to you. And that's completely okay. Who cares? There are like 800 crores people out there in the world. Who cares for first 100 or 1,000? But if you begin, only then will you ever get there. And once you get the hack of it, then you will never be able to operate in any other way. You will realize how much effort someone else is taking to get to the same place where you can otherwise naturally reach much quicker, effectively, and saving your time, energy, effort.
I was just saying, begin from this room to network. All of you all are going either to the same place. One of you might just get a job. You can just hit up the other person being like, hey, got a job, need like an internship or something, the guy can set you up. Like literally after this, talk to each other, and that's your first step to networking.
This is what Dhwani is doing on the 10th day after coming to India.
One just suggestion when you're going through hard times like those, find one physical activity that gives you joy. I found swimming, and I just like took that 1 hour every day, like just ensuring that I do that. Your body secretes hormones that will keep you motivated when you do some physical activity.
Yeah, I think the roller coaster can go on with the question rounds, but we'll stop it over here. It's 8 p.m. and I hand over the mic to Bimal.
पंहिंजे में छे न कि कच्छी समाज में अॼु 50 वर पहला जो हिकिड़ो अभियान हले वो कि पंहिंजी छोकिरी खे भणायो अॻियां. Can you raise how many of the female candidates here going abroad? Many. And how many boys? So look at the comparison. No, not equal. Boys are less. So this is, the proud moment for us कि अॼु जी तारीख़ में पहला अॼु 25 वर्ष पहला खाली छोकरा वंदा हुआ. आज हाणे सीन अहिड़ो थी वियो आहे कि छोकिरियूं वञे थियूं. And this is all thanks to, the continuous guidance, parent जो हिकिड़ो trust. यार फॉरेन हलाईंदा त सौથી वॾो हिकिड़ो ट्रस्ट खपे न. छोकिरा हलाए ॾियूं पाणी जो तव्हांखे वांदो न अचे, पर अॼु जी तारीख़ में जेको स्ट्रेंथ दसाए थी हिन छोकिरी जे त. So this is a proud moment for the parents also. Let's have a round of applause for the parents who have put in the trust on you. We thank all the panelists who have taken their special time and just a call. I'm sure 11 जो call वियो हूंदो and they must have all agreed upon. पोइ भले न ब्लॉक हुआ, मेगा ब्लॉक हुआ, स्ट्राइक हुआ, still they made sure that they have come here. ये हिकिड़ो इंटरनल हिकिड़ो कॉल आहे कि ही जेको अॼु थी 5 થી 8 वर पहला they might be sitting here taking the guidance, and now the time has come to return back. It's not the money, it's the money करता पण 100 गणो multiplying factor आहे is experience what they carry. And हिकिड़ो समाज खे की पाछो ॾियणो आहे एज अ गाइडेंस. एंड आई एम श्योर अॼु 3.5 कलाक 4 hours वी हैव बीन कंटिन्यूस सिटिंग हियर. मणे खे इंफॉर्मेशन मिले कि न मिले, राइट? सो ही इंफॉर्मेशन आके लॻे थो किथे गूगल में मिलंदी आके. आई एम श्योर आई ॿिए कोई कम्युनिटी जे सेमिनार में पण वंदा, आइदर दे आर thoroughly professional, which is a paid version, or they will give you overall university point of view idea. But none of the organization or the events which are happening outside will give you this type of information. એટલે પાંજો એકડો સેવા સમાજ જો એકડો પાંચું ના એકડો મંચ એકડો એડો જોરદાર आहे કે તે અચને શેરિંગ થયા તો ઇન્ફોર્મેશન. The loan procedure, like we have been open enough to support a lot of students, and એકડો give back policy પણ आहे કે આજે અમુક છોકરા ઓતે વને ને એટલા અગ્યા વધે વ્યા. And because of the help of સેવા સમાજ, there are 3 helps. The guidance, that's very important. Second is pushing them with the money, saying that અગર પૈસા ઓછા પેતા એવર પણ વનનું आहे. Bright student आहे with the Elaben takes very open call કે અંકે હલાનું હોય તો blindly support કરી દે. અને third thing, connectivity, host family connectivity. તમારું જો આપણો આખો કમ્પ્લીટ પેકેજ એક્સેપ્ટ યોર ટ્રાવેલિંગ એન્ડ ધ બેક પેકિંગ, वो लगभग पंहिंजे कच्छी जेको लेडीज़ हुई वो तो स्मार्ट ई बैग पैकेजिंग में अने ट्रैवलिंग रेस्ट ऑल इट्स लाइक कंप्लीट पैकेज व्हाट यू गेट. So that's what the power of Samaj, and we thank Ilaben also, though part and parcel અને સેવા સમાજ past president રહી ચૂક્યા અહીં ને ever education જો પણ છું ને she's been like she's been helping to lot of students and their team Lekha Visaria, Shubda, just Lekha Visaria, just stand it out, please request, and you also come here. So maybe the background, both are professor by nature. I think that she's a principal for Vivekanand College, and she's been head of the department for MD College. So Shubda Gala and Lekha Visaria. So we are lucky enough to have such a intelligent people, coordinating, helping to the. Let's have a round of applause for them also. With this, I'll conclude, and seminar kahindaru again. Thank you so much. And now before we conclude dinner,
इलाबेन थोड़ा कुकिंग क्लास પણ ચાલુ કરે ને જયપ્રોડ બંધાવે છોકરા હોય ને ઓની એક વાર કુકિંગ જો પણ કરતા એમ અને હન પ્રખ્યા પાકે એવા ડિનર ગને સ્ટાર્ટ કઈનું જરૂરી है પાલા કઈને
एड़ा गचमड़े पाए समाज में ही जो को कुकिंग जब भी क्लासेस रन कई था डिहाइड्रेटेड प्रोडक्ट्स भी आके हेल्प कईंदा सो देयर आर लॉट ऑफ दैट व्हिच इज गोइंग ऑन सो दैट्स नाइस थैंक यू
Thank you for coming. You came from Pune,
Wishing
right?
you all the best to all of you.
She has come from Pune just to help us, in spite of this. We acknowledge your presence.
We acknowledge Sonal, and who's come with her mother-in-law. Even her father-in-law was here. He's gone. ध्वनि नवी है बॉम्बे ला करने एवर को गैप थे वे पंजवरे पोटिया तो जी मम्मी इनके कोठे आ गई है
અને father in law સાથે એના પણ ગત સંકળાયેલા હું
Yeah, I know,
lot of
I'm
activities.
aware. And Devesh with his surgery that has happened on his foot ligaments. आमचे ने ऑफिस में होते वर्क फ्रॉम होम गड़े है અને હતે પાંજે પાવટે ગાઈડન્સ લગાને પહોંચી આવ્યા સો થેન્ક યુ વેરી મચ each one of you. I would say Milay also, he's come back again. I would say Viral, and I would also say Dwanil. Each one of them ई जो को मेहनत क्या आया ई जो को आज जो आपको प्रेजेंटेशन नहीं नहरे आया अल्लाह का नहीं मड़े गच मड़े कोऑर्डिनेट करे नहीं मड़े क्या आया